thought I'd take a few minutes and just show you what goes on behind the scenes. You guys know that I'm not just building these saws. A lot of times during my lunchtime, I'll grab a sandwich, come out here and sit or sit at the table and answer the phone all day, one or the other. I do play with stuff. I just look at things. And this is probably a good thing to share. Now, we've talked about putting reeds in these 372s. Here's a new 372 cylinder. Well, I'll tell you what we got. Got a little reed block. A little set of V reeds. Yeah, carbon fiber. That drops down in there. Just like that. And then, it's got a little intake. Goes right on top of it. Okay, so what does it take to actually do something like this and actually make it work? Maybe we can do all kinds of things, but they gotta work, don't they? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, this little ring has something to do with it. I cut my intake off by that much. And you guys know they have this little intake. This is where your throttle comes. Your throttle cable comes up through. That's a given distance. That's supposed to slide right over here. Okay, so I've got that much room to play with. Well, here's what I come up with. That has to be fastened. I've got to cut about yay much of that little intake pipe off. Of course, the reeds go in there, and then this goes on there. Well, what I'm going to do is cut back to about that rib right there. And then that's going to go right on that intake. And that gives me very, very close to the same distance to the carburetor as I had by just eliminating so much of that rubber intake. Okay. What makes reeds work nice in the intake, I prefer to have them go down through the bottom. But we can do that on the intakes. A lot of dirt bikes are that way. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's a proper set of reeds. Okay. Now, I'll finish this project up when we got a few more saws built. But I'm just going to get started a little bit so you can kind of see some of the problems you got. Your reeds obviously have to clear a piston. We got lots of room. It'll do that. They'll drop right in there just like that. Intake will go on. Rubber boot. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Because I'm not sure I like the position exactly. I'm going to take some quick set JB Weld, and I'm going to bond that reed block right to that intake. That should work pretty good, I think. Now what I'm going to do, we have to take the intake timing out of the saw, okay? The reeds control the intake timing. So what we have to do is on this intake floor, we got to cut that right back to about right there. We got to get all the timing out of that. And I kind of draw some funny marks on a piston. Actually, this isn't for the saw, but it'll give you the idea. I've got to cut a notch. It's probably going to go about that high in this piston. It's got to be laid out properly. This is just for example, we have to have a broke in the corners here. Now by doing this, cutting this piston out right here and taking the timing out, the reeds control the timing down. Now this is not going to be that hard to get this in. It's just not. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start grinding just a little bit. And I'll show you the journey along the way. You can see the shape that we're at right now. and we got to match to that. That's our first step. Okay, we got matched to that. What I'm going to do is try to show this to you. Hopefully you can see that. We're matched up pretty good. Okay, now that we're matched, what we're going to do, we're going to start taking timing out of this. Now that means we're cutting that floor, I'm going to say probably 150 thousandths right out of this darn floor. And that's a lot. See this cylinder? I ordered a bunch of extra cylinders to do this with. This is some of the eggs you got to break. Okay? Am I going to tell you this is going to work first shot? I don't know. Will I make it work? Oh, I'm going to make this work. I'll guarantee you that. I got a feeling it'll work right out of the box. But there's things that I have to do. And let's get rid of that timing. Now, what I'm going to do is just eyeball where I want to go. I want to take that line. That's where I want to go. First thing is get that shape. Okay, that's getting big, isn't it? Oh yeah. Personally, if you want to know the truth, this stuff's fun, but it scares the crap out of me. It really does. This is a pretty good example of how much you actually can remove, how fast with these double helix. You gotta be real careful with them. I got that one loaded up. It's been dull, and I just wanted to, I knew it was going to be hard on tooling, but all of a sudden we got a hole in there, don't we? Now I got to take some off of that roof, but I got to change my tooling. Now they're getting a big hole. There's no timing in that floor of that, and we're getting it right out. Now you guys have seen me. They make them little notches in the intake right there. You can see where it goes there and there. What that really does is that feeds them transfers. I'll tell you that right now. Not in the way you think, but it does. Okay, now I took that roof off, a good part of it. All I got to do now is get that evened up. But most importantly, now I have material that I have to remove. Okay, now what we've created quite a situation there where we've got a large intake with no timing in it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll take a new piston, cut that notch in there, and that lets them reeds just do their job. That's what that's going to do. Now, this is roughed in nicely. I think we're in good shape there. Only thing I want to do is go around my mounting ring. I'll adjust this just a little bit. Scary, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But now we're committed. There ain't nothing about we can run away about that. I wonder if I should do this on this cylinder too. Be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Maybe not this time, next time. Okay, just to see where we're at. Okay, I'm quite happy with where we're at with that. What I want to do is rough this surface up just a little bit. The beauty of doing it this way, I don't have this welded on. I ought to just go ahead and weld the darn thing on, shouldn't I? Okay, we have a nice rough surface there to bond to. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that good on that. We haven't done any port work, but I'll tell you what I think. I'm going to bond this right now. And we're going to let it go a day or so, probably, because I can't get back to this. I'm taking a few minutes I should be taking right now from another saw. But I'm doing it. So, we're going to find out what this does. So, I'll take a second and mix up some JB Weld and put it on, and let's just share this journey. Okay, before I do that, I thought I'd get this in approximately the position and let you see where them reeds are going. Okay, we have adjustment there, but I think I want them right about in there, quite honestly, because I don't want to run into problems mounting that cylinder. And if I do, I want to leave room to be able to grind, and I got a bolt hole to contend with. But it'd be nice if they were right there. So probably the thing to do is see where I actually can put that. And I'm going to leave them just a little high. That reed will open. That'll get air through there. Okay, we have this bonded on. And it actually, I can't tip it up and show you, but we've got it bonded on. Now, why I ground around here is when this is tomorrow, I'll go ahead and add some more right around the area where we ground. You can see. We'll just add some more. I got to put this in a safe place, and I'll be right back. Now, my intake's a little long for what I'm trying to do. So what I'm going to do is cut part of it off. And I'm going to do this with a precision instrument. Yeah. I'm going to come up where I'm going to just touch that line. That's all I'm going to do. And so we'll get this done. You know. Now, after we did that, what we got to do is make it just a little straighter. Keep in mind, this don't have to be perfect because it's just an intake. It's straightening up nicely. Okay, now, some of you might have just noticed, not say anything, but I'm going to bring it up. this hole is a little smaller on the inside because this basically slides over that nicely. So that is a little smaller. We're going to open that up right now. But keep in mind with reeds, I want force of air. I want pressure coming through them reeds. I want that to hit pretty hard. So I'm going to draw, this is an orifice now, that's what it is. I'm going to have that slightly bigger than it is right now on the ID, but I'm trying to get some pressure right there. So let's get to where we got some pressure. Using up my lunch hour. Okay, now you can see where we're headed with that, can't you? I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and then we're going to do some terrible things with the reeds themselves. Okay, I like that. I like that. I think we did a nice job roughing that in. I didn't want it too thin. I wanted to save my strength. What I'll do now is take my little file. I'll break my edge on the outside. It'll help me get my hose on. Okay, that's broke. And I dropped my air hose. Carbon fiber reeds in a 372. What do you think? That's going to work. Okay, we are slightly smaller. We're about the diameter of the OD, smaller on the inside. That's what we are. Now, you'll see we got screws hanging out, and that's not quite shaped right. And I'm not going to bother taking the reeds out because when I blow through them reeds gently, everything I get falls in there, goes right on out. We'll clean them. I'll probably disassemble them once after I'm done. A little deburring. Not really worried about the inside of this reed block being perfect, but anyway, it's much nicer. Much nicer. Obviously, them holes right in there. What we ended up with is a lot nicer transition into the reed, see? See what we did there? That's one of my pioneer tricks. Is them pioneer reeds, the cage kind of squinches down just a bit too far, and I just kind of cleaned that up a little bit. The minute I did that, that woke them right up. There's more tricks than that, and we got a saw coming up directly. We have a pulling with reeds, nice one. That one, that's for bucking, and we will build in that shortly. I've got Dan Caminetti's saw almost done. Figure we get that done. I get the bearings in Adam Fox's saw. I'm waiting on a piston for that one. If I happen to get to that point where I'm kind of backed up, bam! In a few days, you're going to see a saw. I'm not going to put this in a saw anytime soon, probably, but it's nice to share this a little bit. Now, what's cool about this? See, that came with proper gaskets and everything. What we've done effectively is, I'm not going to cut my intake right now. I'm going to do a new one. What I want to do is get mounted up to the saw and see my exact position that I want to cut that. It will be about right in there. About right in there. See, for this to work right, I don't want to screw around having problems putting my choke rod on, fuel line, my throttle cable, or any of that. And with the method I'm choosing to do this, I know I'll get it bolted together. Whether it'll start, we'll find out, won't we? You guys will be curious about this. So won't I. It'll be killing me. What'll happen is I'll be out here about midnight one night putting this thing together and starting it. That's exactly what'll happen. Because I'm that way. At nights I can't sleep. If I get something going through my frickin' noggin, I might as well just grab a cup of coffee and some gum and come right on out here and just putter for a few hours. Of course, then I go in there about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I crash, and then I don't want to get up till about 6:30. And that's been happening a lot lately. It's life. That's life. When you get life in the fast lane when you're old, right? Thanks for being here. I hope this has been kind of fun to see behind the scenes what we do. Goodbye.